Buongiorno e ciao a tutti, I'm Aaron here at 99 Problemi, and I have for you today a video on il passato prossimo, the past tense in Italian. So in this video I'm going to introduce the Italian past tense, talk about how to form the regular past participle, which is the foundation for the past tense in Italian, and I'll also be talking about how to conjugate two model verbs in the past tense, and I'll be moving on to exercises to show comprehension. So first off, this is an example of the past tense, ho guardato, and you'll see here it means I watched or I have watched, and there's a couple parts here. You may recognize the o from the verb avere. In the Italian past tense, you need two things. You need the auxiliary or helping verb, which is a form of avere or essere, and you also need something called a past participle, which is kind of verbal adjective. Taken by itself, it means having watched, but when you add a helping verb to it, it conveys the sense of an event that occurred in the past, like I watched. Let's take a look here at an entire conjugation of the verb guardare. You need the helping verb avere, o hai ha, abbiamo, avete, hanno, and this video will assume that you've already been through what the subject pronouns io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, and loro, what all those mean and how they match up with avere. And to complete the conjugation of this verb, you just need the past participle, which is, in this case, guardato. You notice that it's always the same. So if you want to say I watched, it's ho guardato. If you want to say you watched, it's hai guardato. He and she are ha guardato, and so forth. Pretty simple, actually. Now, you also need in some cases, you're going to need to conjugate a verb with essere. And the verb andare, to go, is one such example. And the conjugation with verbs that take essere as a helping verb are just slightly different. They use a form of the verb essere, and they also use a past participle, but you'll notice that the past participle will change according to the gender of the subject. So in the first example, the sono andato, if the person speaking, saying that I went someplace, if the person speaking is a boy, it'll end in an O. Sono andato. If it's a girl, it'll end in sono andata. And this stays true for all of the singular forms. Sono, sei, are all either o or a, and those changes follow the rules of adjectives in Italian. When you get to noi, voi, and loro, you notice that the changes become either the masculine plural andati with an I, or the feminine plural andate, and in those cases they, like the o and the a above, they follow the same rules as adjectives. So if you want to say we went someplace, siamo andati, if you're a group of boys or a mixed group of boys and girls or men and women. And you can also say siamo andate if you are a group of women who are going someplace or who went someplace. To form this past participle, and by this past participle I mean the regular past participle, there's also an irregular past participle that I'll talk about in another video, but for the regular past participles, as would be formed with the three conjugation numbers, parlare first conjugation, vendere second conjugation, and finire third conjugation, you would change the are in parlare to parlato, and we saw that before with guardare, guardato. It's actually a pretty simple transformation. The regular transformation for vendere would be venduto, and for finire it would be finito. Okay, so ares become atos, eres become utos, and ires become itos. Okay, got that? This might bring up some questions immediately. One being, when do you use avere and when do you use essere? And that's the subject of another video. So if you're interested in that, please continue on to the next video about choosing avere versus essere. I'll also have a video for the second issue that you're going to come across that I mentioned, which is that there are irregular past participles. And these can actually be a thorn in the side for people who are just starting off learning Italian. There's a lot of irregular past participles, and they turn out to occur with the most common verbs. Let's try conjugating some of these simple exercises to see if you understand the nuts and bolts of forming the passato prossimo with the auxiliary verb avere in this case. So there's one slide that's about avere as a helping verb, and there's another slide with the helping verb essere. Okay, so in these videos you just don't have to tell the difference between the two. So let's try it out. Numbers 1 and 2, give those a try now, and then I'll give you those answers. So, io studiare is ho studiato. And number 2, tu controllare is hai controllato, meaning to check. So you checked something. Forse hai controllato l'email. You checked your email. Alright, pause it right now, give the next few a try, and I'll be back to give you the answers. Okay, number 3, lui lavare, he washed. What did he wash? Ha lavato. Very good, ha lavato. And lei vendere, ha venduto. Number 5, noi visitare is abbiamo visitato. 6, voi finire is avete finito. 7, loro, with the feminine form, firmare, which is hanno firmato, which means to sign. So they signed something. Loro, masculine form, salutare, hanno salutato. Notice that the feminine masculine distinction in this case doesn't make a difference. Verbs with avere and the past participles with avere do not change to agree with the person. That is a rule that is reserved for essere. Voi pulire is avete pulito. And number 10, noi fumare, we smoked, is abbiamo fumato. Alright, move on to essere, and you'll see that things get just a little bit more complicated, but not so much, especially in the regulars. So why don't you pause the video here, give these a try. If you need to, refer back to the previous part of the video where I talked about formation with the verb esseres. And these shouldn't be too difficult at this point, except for some details. Okay. Alright, number 11, undici, lui partire, lui è partito. Number 12, lei è entrata. Now notice on that one, we have lei, which is a girl or woman, and she entered, and because it's a she that's entering, you have to change the past participle to agree. That's why I added the a. 13, tu arrivare. Sei arrivato or arrivata, and since there's nothing else in this that tells you whether you're talking to a man or a woman, you just have to do the slash there. It's either o or a ending for the past participle. Number 14, io sono caduto o caduta. 15, io andare, sono andato, sono andata. 16, lei diventare, è diventata. 17, noi partire, siamo partiti o partite. 18. Voi uscire? Siete usciti? Or siete uscite? If you're talking to a group of women, siete uscite with an E at the end. 19. Loro sono saliti o salite. And 20. Io sono nato, sono nata. Now that one may have thrown you off if you noticed that I put after the verb nascere, to be born, nato, which is to give you a clue that that is a irregular past participle, and that's the subject of an upcoming video. So, if you like what you've seen here, please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And thanks for watching. Grazie.